What are you doing the 10 minutes before the game? The really good players, even at a young age, you watch them and they're the first ones that have their shoes on. They're the first ones that are out on the court and running up and down the court, right? The first time you sprint in a game shouldn't be, right when the ball goes up. The good players already have a sweat going and they're ready to compete. Realizing it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be just what you're doing 10 minutes before tip-off.
What's up, Grind Nation? I'm your host, Jayden. Today's episode is brought to you by Northland Child Psychiatry, a child psychiatry clinic that specializes in ADHD, anxiety, depression, OCD, bipolar disorder, and more. Unlike traditional models, Dr. Willis operates a private pay practice, allowing him to spend more time with each patient and provide truly individualized care. If you're looking for an expert in mental health support for your child with a compassionate, thorough approach, visit northlandpsychiatry.com to learn more. Today, we are pumped to have Tyler Haws on the show. Tyler is one of the greatest basketball players in BYU history, known for his elite scoring ability and relentless work ethic. At 6'5" guard from Alpine, Utah, Haws starred at Lone Peak High School before playing at BYU, where he became the program's all-time leading scorer with 2,720 points. He was a deadly mid-range shooter and an automatic free throw shooter, finishing his college career with a near 88% free throw percentage. After college, he played professionally overseas in leagues across Europe. Beyond his scoring, Haws was known for his dedication, discipline, and mindset, making him a great example for young athletes striving for excellence. So, Tyler, how do you handle the fear of failure in high-pressure situations?
Yeah, great question, Jayden. First off, thanks so much for having me on, dude. This is awesome. I love the idea of this podcast and helping younger athletes, and so it's an honor to be on your podcast.
Of course.
Yeah. So, talking about fear of failure, was that the question? Fear of failure?
Yeah. How
did I handle that? Yeah, I think every athlete is going to feel some fear at some point, right? In a game or a high pressure situation, maybe it's a certain time of the season, right? That you're feeling pressure. And so for me, it was always about embracing that fear, not trying to run away from it, realizing that, hey, like everybody feels some sort of nervousness. We always used to say growing up that being nervous is good, right? It's okay to be nervous if you've put in the work and the time leading up to it, right? You're going to have some nerves, but you shouldn't be afraid to fail. We always would talk about that. There's always the possibility that it doesn't turn out the way that you want it to, but that doesn't mean that you should shy away from the challenge, right? And we would always talk about, giving your very best effort, preparing the best that you can. And then when it comes game time, that's your time to just let all your hard work kind of show and just go play as hard as you can, focus on your effort. And seemed like the times that I did that, I was still nervous. I still had some fear inside, but the more I could, talk to myself and say, hey, I've put in the work, I've put in the time, like I deserve to be here, and now just go play hard. Like usually good things happened after that, even though I, felt some fear.
Yeah, that's great. I have to do that because I handle fear a lot differently.
Yeah. How do you handle fear?
Well, when I have fear, I tend to just ignore it.
Ignore it. Yeah. But it's still there, right?
Yeah, just push it aside.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay mentally prepared during the off season?
Yeah, for me in the off season, all of my preparation and the day-to-day grind of working hard at something, that's what helped me mentally prepare for my season. I wanted to be able to walk out on the floor and know that I had done everything that I could to prepare. So some of that meant, putting together a good training plan, a good game plan that I could stick to, right? I think it's easy to, for basketball players to just, go in the gym and just, throw up some shots and you mess around for 45 minutes and you call it good. But the more detailed you can get with your plan, like, hey, I want to work on, this part of my game, or, maybe my 3-point shooting, maybe that's something that I'm focusing on in the off season. Maybe it's my ball handling. Maybe it's, ball screen situations, whatever it is, have a detailed plan, and really, be disciplined every day to work on it. Just have a routine every day. Those little things, that preparation helped me mentally be ready for the game situations.
Yeah, so just like focus on one thing at a time.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
How do you stop comparing yourself with other athletes?
Great question. I think that's something that every player will feel. You're going to go up against teammates. Maybe it's somebody in your own league that is better than you, or that you feel that they're better than you. Maybe they're more athletic. Maybe they're taller. Maybe they're bigger, stronger, right? And so naturally, it's easy to compare yourself and say, "Oh man, I'm never going to be as good as them," right? For me, like it was always about falling back on my training and my preparation, and sometimes you have to remind yourself, like, "Hey, I deserve to be here. Like I've put in the work and the time, and like I deserve to be here. There's good players around, and of course they're a good player, but I'm a good player too, right?" And so I think it's okay to acknowledge that, hey, yeah, that person is really talented, right? And they're a good player. But, when we compete against each other, I believe I can beat him because I've done everything I can to prepare, and I believe I'm a good player too, So I think it's okay to be aware, but don't, put yourself down by that comparison.
How important would you say a pregame routine would be?
Yeah, super important. I tried to be really consistent with my pregame routines. I tried to be detailed with it. I was probably a little, over superstitious sometimes. I would tie my shoelaces a certain way, and I would always eat the same thing. But as I got older, I tried to have those 4 or 5 main things, like, hey, if the game starts at 7, right, I'm going to try and take a nap at 3:00. I'm going to try and eat at 4:00. I'm going to try and get to the gym at this time. I'm going to, have my same shooting shirt that I wear, whatever it was. I tried to have the same routine, just because I felt like it helped me relax mentally, knowing that, hey, it's the same thing, right?
What's the best way to create a pregame routine?
I think you just got to figure out what works for you. Just start something. It's okay to tweak it too. It's okay to say, okay, hey, I didn't like that. I liked this, and my body felt really good after eating the spaghetti that my mom made. So maybe I do that before every game, right? Trying to. But if you're playing, if it's more like maybe you're playing or you're playing club, and you're playing 4 or 5 times a week or something, maybe you're playing high volume games. Like sometimes your routine is what you do 10 minutes before the game, right? Maybe you can't always control, okay, what you're going to eat or taking a nap. Like those were things I was doing in high school and college, but maybe junior high and younger, what are you doing the 10 minutes before the game? Like, the really good players, even at a young age, you watch them and they're the first ones that have their shoes on, right? They're the first ones that are out on the court and running up and down the court, right? The first time you sprint in a game shouldn't be right when the ball goes up, right? The good players already have a sweat going and they're ready to compete, right? And so I think just figuring out what works for you, but realizing it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be just what you're doing 10 minutes before tip off, right?
Yeah. How do you stay committed to your goals when you're not seeing results right away?
Great question. It's difficult. Yeah. I mean, every player at every level will go through challenges, right? Maybe it's a shooting slump. I mean, maybe you're just not seeing the results, that you'd like, and it's discouraging, and, there's some doubts. It's hard. I think the biggest thing that always helped me was, I kept a journal. I was a journal writer, and I try and write daily things that were helping me and stuff that I was learning. And that always helped me believe that I was getting better, even on bad days, right? I was still learning something. I was still growing as a player and a person. And so I would say journal writing helped me develop, the way that I was talking to myself, and helped me think better, think more clear. Sometimes, we think something is a huge deal, and then when we write it on paper, we realize, okay, I'm kind of being dramatic about this little thing, right? And I could think about it differently. And so, journal writing something definitely helped me.
What should someone do if they're feeling like giving up on their sport?
So my wife, Summer, she was a gymnast at BYU, and that's where we met. And so she always jokes that she's the better athlete in our house, and I don't fight her on it. She was an incredible athlete. What gymnasts do are amazing things. But she would always say, "Hey, you can't quit on a bad day. Can't quit on a bad day." She had some really tough things growing up. As a 6, 7-year-old, she was already putting, 4, 5, 6 hours in the gym every day. Like she put in a lot of time, and she loved it, but there were hard days, right? And so her coach and her parents, that was something they talked about was, hey, you can't quit on a bad day, because everybody has bad days, right? Finish your season, finish the month, finish wherever there's an end point, and then get to the other side of that and evaluate, hey, all right, did I like that? Did that go well? And most of the time, like if you've put in a lot of time and effort and you love your sport, you're going to realize, hey, I'm going to continue doing this thing. I'm going to see where this road goes. My wife competed at a really high level, and I think she was really grateful she didn't quit on a bad day.
Yeah, that's great. How do you or like someone handle setbacks like injuries or not making a certain team?
Some of what we've already talked about, just there's challenges that come up. Yeah, you don't make a team, maybe your coach is playing somebody else in front of you, right? You can't stop believing in yourself, though. Can't stop just stacking good days and trusting the process of getting better, right? I think so many times, especially in sport, like we put the focus on the outcome, right? It's like, hey, I want to win the championship at the end. And yeah, that's a great thing to think about, but what is the process? What are you doing on a daily basis to get better, right? And I think the more you can focus on just improving and getting better, put the focus on you growing personally, I think that's when you can overcome some of those challenges and see past some of those things. If you can get to the end of the day and be like, hey, I got better today. And yeah, there's some things that we're trying to get through and overcome, even if it's an injury, right? What am I doing on a daily basis to get back? Good things will come out of that.
What's the difference for you between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset in sports?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, fixed mindset for me is putting too much emphasis on the outcome, right? If I don't do this, then I'm a failure. If I don't make this team, then I'm a failure, right? Or if I don't score 30 points in the game, then yeah, I failed. Like those to me are fixed mindset thoughts. If I'm not the starter on my team, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to, right? If I don't make every shot in the game, those are fixed mindset thoughts that, if you flip it and you focus on just getting better and you focus on the process of something. So like breaking down, shooting, for example, like I loved trying to be a better shooter every day. And there were so many details and things. Wow. My daughter Ella's here. I have to acknowledge my daughter Ella. We've been hanging out today. Uh, get a little treat, Ella. Nice. Awesome. Do you want to come in here? Come in here and say hi. This is my daughter Ella. You say hi. Yep. Ella, how old are you? 5. Yep. Ella's a gymnast and she's an athlete too. Yep. Working hard, huh? But yeah, I think a growth mindset is focused on the process. So we were talking about shooting, and I think for me, shooting, trying to become a better shooter, you had to focus on the process because there were so many days where you'll have a bad shooting day. You'll go 0 for 8 in a game, right? And you have to figure out how to bounce back. And for me, it was focusing on the fundamentals, focusing on 1, 2, maybe 3 things on my shot that I could focus on that, could bring my game back to where I wanted it to.
Yeah. How do you overcome self-doubt as an athlete?
Yeah, doubt's another thing that everybody has, right? You're going to doubt yourself. Everybody has those thoughts, and I think choosing to focus on good thoughts is something that I've tried really hard to do. Like I learned a lesson one time that thoughts are like sitting on a mountain and you're watching a highway, right? And you've got, cars going back and forth on this freeway and you're up high watching. And if you attach yourself to one of those cars that's a bad thought, maybe it's a doubt or something, that car is going to keep moving and it's going to take you all the way outside of where you want to be, right? I think if you can zoom out and just see thoughts for what they are, right? See those doubts for what they are. They're just thoughts, and some of them lead to feelings, okay, if we attach ourselves. But for me, zooming out a little bit and just being aware and acknowledging, okay, yeah, there's some doubt there. That always helped me try and refocus my thoughts on something good, right? And most of the time, like if I could think about the work that I put in, I could change my thinking. That would give me confidence knowing, hey, I worked really, really hard to be here. And I got to believe that, something good is going to come out of this if I try my very best, right? I don't know if that makes sense, Jayden, but that was a long answer.
Yeah, that was a really cool way to view it too. How do you stay focused during a game after making mistakes or just in general?
Yeah, really, really good question. We always talked about, good players, they have a short memory and they bounce back quick. My coach at BYU, his name was Dave Rose, and he always talked about having a next play mentality. Okay, get to the next play, get to the next play, get to the next play. And that was something that I tried to do, whether, the last play was a good play, whether I had made a shot or maybe I got a steal or something. Or maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I turned the ball over or I missed a shot, right? Getting to the next play, having that mentality, what do I need to do on this play to be successful? That helped me for sure.
Yeah. And then what has sports done for you?
Man, sports has been, such a huge part of my life from a very young age. It's taught me so many valuable lessons, and so grateful that I have that in my life because being a husband, being a father now, and trying to be successful in a different part of my life, different career. Right now, I'm done playing basketball, but still chasing some dreams, right? I can fall back on all of those lessons that I've learned, right, in sport. And, it with basketball, it wasn't always, wasn't always easy. Really, there's really, really hard days. There's challenges, injuries. You go through periods of self-doubt and, I felt those things. It's funny. I felt those lessons at every single level. Right. And so I would encourage every athlete, whatever sport you're playing, to just give your best effort, make a plan and work hard at it. And, there's coaches that talk about stacking days. Got to stack days on top of each other, stack good days. And no matter what, you're going to learn something from that, right? I think the worst thing you can do in sports is to not give your best effort. Don't put your full heart into something, and you're just kind of floating out there. You got to put your full heart into it. Like, really go after something, chase it, set a goal, chase it, focus on the process. And, those are some of the best experiences in life. Like, another one of my coaches, his name's Mark Pope. He was an assistant. Now he's the head coach at Kentucky. He talked about earning your tears. Got to earn your tears. And what he meant by that was, at the beginning of every off season leading into their season, he would say, hey, you're either going to get to the end of this season and you're going to be in the locker room, right? You're going to either have won the championship or you're going to be so disappointed because you lost, right? And there's a few things that you'll feel in that moment. Either you'll feel, man, I could have done more, right? I could have done more. Maybe I was floating through, you'll remember all your practices in your off season saying, dang, I didn't give my best effort. Or you're going to win the championship and that's going to be an unbelievable feeling. And you're going to be crying because you're so happy that you won, right? Or you're going to have lost, but known that I gave my full heart and effort. And I'm so sad because it's over. And I left everything out on the floor. There's nothing more that I could have given, right? And I think the best moments in life are when you can feel that I gave my very best effort, right? No, even if I lost, right? I left it all out there. And that no matter what you're doing, sports, business, whatever thing outside of sports that you're involved in, if you can get yourself to emotionally give your full effort, put yourself out there, good things come from that for sure.
Yeah, I like the saying, leave it all on the court.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to thank Tyler for coming. Your experience is so insightful. Be sure to subscribe to follow along for more sports mindset content for athletes.